strange event happened. Unexpectedly, in the middle of the winter, Rumi and Shams were sitting together in a little cell. It was snowing outside. And suddenly there was a rap on the door, and the call came for Shams. Shams slowly rose from his seat and said, "My time has come, I am called." And he walked out. The next thing, Rumi heard the great cry, "La ilaha illallah," which means there is no reality but God. And he rushed out, and he could find no trace of Shams of Tabriz ever again. Some say there were a few drops of blood on the snow. Some say that Shams was killed by his enemies. Some say he went back to the Samoan Brotherhood where he came from in the Kaf Mountains. No one knows. But he disappeared entirely from Rumi's life. Rumi was shattered. He was wild with despair. "Oh Master, do come back. Oh Lord, do return. Do not keep me longing. Oh night disturbed, please vanish. Oh unspeakable sorrow, go away from me." At this point, he might have been taught this earlier, but it became public knowledge that he was turning and whirling and whirling. And as he whirled in his grief, he recited poems. People wrote them down, musicians gathered around him. The grief he was in was so intense, the only way he could salve it was to access his poetic soul. And the wealth of his poetry began to pour out of him and be written down. It was painful, very painful time for him. He also went to Damascus 3 times and he called out in the streets for Shams. People thought he had gone mad. His son said, day and night he whirled in ecstasy. On the earth he revolved like the heavens. His cries reached the zenith of the skies and were heard by all and sundry. There was an uproar of protest. The whole city was in uproar that such a great Qutb and Mufti of Islam, the accepted leader of the 2 universes, should be raving like a madman. But many people still gathered about him because there was something in the intensity and the madness that drew them like moths to a flame. And it took many months and perhaps years for this intensive burning experience to reduce him to a cinder and to a point where he could begin to say things like, "Why do I say me or him when he is myself and I am he? Why should I seek? His essence speaks through me. I have been looking for myself." And the realization of his unity with Shams and the unity of consciousness began to flower in him into a whole new reality of teaching, of benevolence, of compassionate activity. And his soul burst open in a way that was unimaginable to him and probably to us.
And after a little break, I think we will bring